So I think it's live. Sarah, can you confirm that we are live?
Give me 2 seconds. Did you post it on Twitter? And I will verify. Where are you?
Yeah, we should be live everywhere.
Yep. Let me make sure. I see you live. Here is your live link, and it's wonderful. Live link is here. I'm tweeting it out. For our lovely X people that are watching us and saw the pink halo of Ross glow across the interwebs. Live link. Give me a smiley face. Got it. We are live.
Larry.
Hi, Larry. Auntie Sarah says she loves you.
Sorry, guys. It's the puppy. He's awake.
This is awesome. Welcome to each and every person that is alive and well today. You made it through the night. This is a big deal. Welcome to the AI Mastery Hackathon, day 2. Many of you are uncaffeinated, sleep deprived, still wondering what the heck you're doing. I have gotten all of the messages behind the scenes. I want to make a big reminder that the Slack channel is where things go, not necessarily in the DMs here, there, and everywhere, because if you have a question, someone else might also, and it's just the kind thing to do. So make sure that you are putting that out there. For some reason, in the event that you did not receive your turbo pack, that's a problem. Because you want to make sure that you're using the goodies that you have in it. We went through all of them systematically, one by one, and shuffling through. We'll have final numbers in terms of how many participants we have and teams after we, kind of reallocate folks that are on the wait list. We did have some people drop out. That happens sometimes. Sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming and they think to themselves, I don't know. But I will tell you, I want to encourage each and every one of you to stick it out. Win, lose, or draw, you're going to come out a different person in the next 7 days. When you have something that you're trying to build, yes, according to someone else's standards, perhaps, but then to push yourself to use other tools, because many of you might be only using ChatGPT. And there's a lot more out in the universe, and you don't need to be on expert mode your entire life. There are tools that can help you succeed. So at any rate, today's broadcast will be an hour. I do want to give the heads up that we may change the date or the time on spaces here or there. We do have a lot of people overseas, and I want to make sure that we're helpful for them too. So just keep an eye out. It's something that we're kind of noodling over and making sure it's not going to be drastic. It might be just an hour later, right? So it's not a huge deal, but that could make and break a lot of folks that are literally in the middle of the night. Their sleep schedules are already messed up, and most of you already have a day job. So we're trying to accommodate a little bit and not be so rigid with the Eastern Standard Time zone of 10 a.m. So just keep an eye out. If we change it, we change it. If we don't, you don't. But it will be definitely in the Slack channel, just to make sure that we're being nice and kind to everybody, because we want to give everybody a good shot. All right, Ross, how did your night go? How did you feel about the project? I'm looking forward to meeting our new sponsors and interesting things that we will be exploring today in today's challenge. I'm very excited about this one, actually. So how you been? What you doing?
I've been good, and I'm very excited to see what you guys have all been building. I actually have not checked anything or saw anything until I see your submissions. So when you guys send me through challenge 1, we will be able to see what you. Also, before I even continue, Sarah, how do you hear me, by the way? Because I have to switch microphones.
I hear you lovely. I mean, it's not a problem at all. What I would ask is maybe go over real quick the submission process, because we have a lot of
Yeah,
people.
we're gonna go over all that. I just want to make
Go
sure you
ahead.
can hear me
Cool,
good.
cool.
Can you hear me better? I just switched
I
mics.
can hear you very well. It's a nice quality sound. I don't know how mine is, but you're more important. I want to make sure everybody knows and hears you. But yeah, you sound great. Unless you're talking now, in which case I can't hear you.
Oh
Just
yeah, it was. So that's funny. So two things I want to go over. One, if you're in AI Mastery Hackathon Slack, if you hit pins, you'll see all the super important things that you need to know. And that's like any links that are live or any challenges. So with the first challenge, what was required to pass the challenge is a landing page. And how you made the landing page does not technically matter. We wanted you to use both to try it out. But if you guys have like your own way of doing things, that is okay too. But the basic challenge that has to be fulfilled is for design a landing page that talks about your service. Your service has to be AI. Hold on one second. Yeah, it must be around AI. So if you have an idea and it has nothing to do with AI, you definitely don't want to do it. Um, I know that everyone has different ideas, and that's fine. But this particular hackathon is revolving around an AI app in particular. So what you want to do is build something that utilizes AI in some way, right? You want clear messaging on this landing page. It should be responsive, and then um, there's also outside of just the deliverables, right? And what makes it good, which is a landing page that is quick loading, that it does not. So when the judges are looking at it, that they're able to see everything pretty clearly. Um, it should have taglines and headers, call to actions, and basically be ready to start building on top of for today. And I recommend everyone use Bolt, because if you don't know how to build things, Bolt's really good at, like, when you ask it for AI stuff, you could say, hey, I want to use the OpenAI API key, and then it'll create a part of your app that uses AI in some form. Now, if you have AI Tutor, of course, you have our APIs, and if you have any other provider, that works too. There's no vendor lock or vendor requirement. And the bonus challenge, if you finished early, was add some cool animations, maybe some testimonials, add a video, dark mode, light mode, that kind of deal. And just things that would exceed the challenge, but doesn't give you extra points or anything. It's if you're done, you might as well do that, because that's what you're going to be working on anyways later. I think the most important thing is clear call to action buttons, like sign up, try demo, look here, look at my service, clear pricing. And again, it doesn't have to be built yet. This is just a landing page. Does everyone understand? And if you're getting any, in the background questions, Sarah, definitely let me know.
I will do. I just wanted to point out too. Yesterday was really really cool, folks. We had a lot of people that had spaces going on in X World, and obviously hackathon stuff comes up in conversation and whatnot. Make sure you invite everybody. Invite us too, because we like to sit in. I know that I sat in a couple spaces, one anonymous. Sometimes you'll see the tech in schools avatar. We want to hear you kind of cross pollinate too. If you're in a traditional hackathon environment where it's in real life, there's always talking amongst each other and the cross pollination of ideas, and kind of, a symbiotic co-opetition is what we call it in FIRST Robotics, where you are competitors, yes, but there's a cooperation amongst you. And I just wanted to say thank you. There are a lot of really incredible people that are involved. I saw you in the Slack channel helping one another. I saw you in spaces giving tips to your competitors. And I just want to say thanks, because you know what? We need more of that. We need more of the world, having this kind of come together. And I know that it is a competition. And yes, there are some serious prizes on the line, but there's also some serious good to humanity being built. Each of you have a really great idea, and these ideas coming out into fruition and being out in the wild improves life for all of us humans. One person's idea may not gel with one person, but it might be a solution for a lot of other folks. And so, having that ability to help one another and get some really cool projects out. The other question, or not question, I guess, comment is, this is just your first landing page. Okay. Your landing pages are going to change by the end of these 6 days, or 6 days left. You're going to make it proof of human. We're hoping that they don't all look the same, right? We don't want them to all feel the same. And kind of, when you're looking at those links, you're like, yeah, I'm using the same product, so therefore it looks the same. You want to make sure that you are concentrating on getting the scaffolding solid, right? You can work on the facade and zhuzh it later, and that's all you need to turn in, is just your scaffolding to us. But I do encourage all of you to go the extra mile, put in the extra effort to make those little touch points in proof of human stand out, because you don't want to prove that, yes, you can click boxes and follow through. You want to prove that you have core competencies and that you have an innovative idea that is worth investing in, because you have some very big sponsors that believe in you, that want to see your ideas come to fruition. And you need a final package that is going to speak for you when you can't speak for yourself. So I just want to give kudos, because I'm really proud of a lot of you. I'm not going to name you, because I don't want you the perception that we're playing favorites or anything, but I will tell you, definitely, you know who you are, the leaders in the communities that are just saying, hey, I want to own this hackathon. I want to make it, special. I want to make sure that the experience is awesome for all of our newcomers. I see you. I just wanted to tell you that. So, at any rate, Ross, continue.
Yep, I'm actually going to take over for Ross for a little bit. And guys, so challenge number 1. First, I see somebody saying that a link doesn't work. Could you be specific about what link doesn't work? Because if it's the submission link, well, you don't upload a page, right, Sharon? You put a link. So if the submission, make sure the submission link works, everybody. And what we want is, we want a link to your landing page that where it's deployed. Whether you deploy on Vercel, whether you use Netlify with Bolt to deploy, whatever it is, we want a public link to your landing page. That is how you submit. That is the requirement for submitting, is that your link has to be public, so that we could see it when you submit it, and that the judges could see it. Now, guys, yesterday we went over...
I'm sorry to interrupt, my love. When you're saying submitting the link and it's out and open, is there a specific spot where people are going to put it, or is it just in the Slack channel?
It is in the submission form for challenge.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that it's on the recording too.
The form is pinned in the Slack. You guys can go to your pinned post in the Slack. It's like highlighted in yellow. And all you have to submit is your email that you're participating with, name, whether it's your name or a team name if you're working with multiple people, and the link, the public link that we can access, that essentially every judge will be able to access when we get to the point where we're going over these. And there's some pretty big prizes in the pool for this challenge. A lot of our partners, for example, if you're using Daytona, how many challenges are there until Tuesday? Okay, well, it's not going to be one per day. We're going to start with challenges on Friday, and then we'll just let you guys work until Monday. So it's going to be 3 or 4 challenges in total, utilizing all of our partners. Now, there's some pretty big prizes in the pool from this challenge. If you guys are using Daytona in any of the challenges, well, you'll be entered to win some of the Daytona prizes, which go into thousands of dollars. So that $200, $300 credits that you got when you signed up for Daytona, that's just a taste. If you're using Daytona on a scale for your product, there's there's a lot more credits for you in store. So I highly recommend you guys try really hard for this challenge, and definitely try to explain what are you going to use these providers for, right? If you have your app and your app does transcription, might look into Runware, might look into Modal, and then you just have to say transcription done by Modal. Now, we talked about making a landing page, and with Bolt, it's pretty easy, right? You just give Bolt a theme, you give Bolt what you want on the landing page, whether it's pricing, features, gallery, and it'll build it out for you. But there's some components of the landing page that everybody should have. So if you guys are worried about what we're looking for on the landing page, well, every typical landing page is going to have some sort of a header on top, right? You're gonna have some sort of a call to action where you're gonna urge people and funnel them to a link. You should have features about your app. What does your app do? What do you want it to do? Right? This is a landing page. It doesn't have to be a functional app. It's just a landing page explaining what your idea is. So you want a header, you want features, and then also maybe you want to add some sort of pricing. Tell us how much your app is going to cost. Is it going to be free? Is it going to be monthly? Is it going to be per use? And then you also maybe want to have some sort of an FAQ section if it applies to your app, and some sort of a footer with social media links and your logo. There's a lot of things that could go into this challenge, right? So, of course, number one is you want to build out and brainstorm what your idea is. What are you building at the end of the day? Where do you want to arrive at the end of this hackathon? So that's the first challenge within that one big challenge, right? And then number two is, of course, figuring out things like pricing, logo, branding, colors. Those are all things that are going to go into building your landing page. And then also trying to figure out where do all of our partners, where do all these services fit into your app. There's that challenge of adapting. While you might have an idea, now you need to figure out how to actually scale and build out that infrastructure. Now, I see some questions here in the comments. So yeah, it's going to be 3, 4, maybe 5 challenges. We're going to go with challenges until Friday, and then we'll let you guys build out. The final deadline is Sunday night, Ross is saying. And we'll be accepting submissions. Let me check the calendar. We'll be accepting submissions until like the end of Monday, pretty much, as we go through them, as we sit down with the
Judging
judges.
is Tuesday.
And then on Tuesday is when we'll prepare everything and present to the judges. And you guys will know whether you won or not within that week. But final deadline probably be Monday night. So we can then put everything together and get the judges together on the 22nd. So final deadline is not Tuesday, it's Monday night. If you submit it Tuesday, let's say Eastern time, because we are in Eastern time, if you submit it by Tuesday morning, most likely it will not get to the judges because we'll already have like a package prepared by then that we're going to be meeting the judges with. Any more questions so far? And then I'll give it back to Ross to explain what the next challenge is and who the next partners and resources available are. Yeah, you can submit it later in the week. What comes to mind? Absolutely. You don't have to submit it today. I do recommend you submit it today and keep working on it, right? Because your link will be the same. So there's kind of like no loss in submitting today. But at the end of the day, yeah, you can submit it later in the week. But remember, you can submit the same link and keep editing.
Just to jump in real quick, it is in the Slack channel, folks. We do understand that you're all in different time zones, right? And a lot of folks were expressing concern because we're doing and making sure and validating your, turbo packs and things like that by hand. What Alisher just said is really important is that you're not going to be marked down necessarily if you don't have your landing page done today. But just know that all of the challenges that are presented, those boxes have to be checked. Links have to exist for each step of your build. This is a more of an accountability and transparency thing. It's not designed to ruin your lives, okay, or make your life miserable, or add unneeded stress. It is to say that you didn't swoop in at the last minute and then, as this mysterious contestant and just magically have a link with all of the things. What you want to do is always document. One of the primary goals of hackathons that are like this, with AI Mastery especially, is that many of you are students and we're trying to instill good practices so that when you are, making really awesome projects out in the wild, that your documentation process and making sure that you have your step outs, you have those proofs of human, because it's going to be very important that those things are embedded in your project. So for today, you made a wonderful landing page and it's awesome. And when you have a link that's already ready that said, yeah, I already prepared this last night, it is already done and it's already turned in on Tuesday. And I showed up on Tuesday. I am a human. I'm actually doing the thing and, proving my point that I have been working on this throughout the course of the week and that it wasn't, prefabricated or, that you're gaming the system in any way. These are all checks and balances that keep the integrity of the game, but also, help instill good practices in other folks that, may or may not know what hackathons are about. So today you're going to be given a challenge. Is it possible that you just have to plow through these in the middle of the night and that, maybe you didn't finish last night and so Monday and Tuesday are going to mash up together? Fine. It just means that by Friday you should have all of these stacked up and ready to put into the hopper ahead of time, into those links ahead of time, so that all of those links are checked off so that you can make your final submission, right? You just want to make sure that you have all of these little breadcrumbs so that we know that you're human, that you're leaving a trail for us to follow, because honestly, your final product is not going to have you talking for it. Your final product is going to have to speak for itself. And is there enough evidence that you have stacked up over the week to prove that you were a participant and that you were an active, member? You're not just an NPC, right? That's what he's mentioning. It's not to make your life miserable. It's not to add extra stress. Even though extra stress is sometimes good for you. And, it shows you who you are and what you're made out of. So I hope that helps answer the question.
And those of you who are solely just like hammering at Bolt and may have used their code and finished their tokens, I'm reaching out to Bolt. The best you could do for your own self is continue editing in like VS Code or AI Tutor. Like, you don't have to just use Bolt the whole way through. Obviously, it does have limits like every app. You can reach out to me via DM in Slack, and I can see what I can do for you with Bolt. But it's up to them, really. It's not really up to us. But remember, any tool is okay. You're not siloed to one specific tool.
Guys, with the Turbo Pack, you get a $30 credit with Bolt. So use that however you want, right? I think that's about 10 million tokens. Should be more than enough to build a landing page. Now, also, I'm seeing some questions. Yes, the link you're submitting for Challenge 1 has to be the deployed link. Do not submit a link that has Bolt in the name, because that's a link that only you can access with your project. We actually cannot access that.
Yeah, make sure you hit the deploy button on Bolt, and you'll get an actual link you could share. And even as you begin to do more complicated things, you're going to need other tools. So feel free to use whatever AI tools that you have that you're using regularly to do this next part, because the next challenge is not just a landing page. So with the next challenge, where it gets quite interesting, is we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to post everything. So don't worry, another post will come out right after this live stream. And anyone who did not claim the Turbo Packs have been released to everyone. So unless something went wrong or you just joined, you're going to need to reach out to us on Slack to activate your Turbo Pack. So if you just were admitted to the hackathon yesterday, and we will be admitting more people as we get space. So we have a huge wait list, people. It is now over 45 people, the wait list. It's really intense, and we're going to do this again for sure. And we're going to make sure that there's way more spots, because I thought we anticipated more than we got, but then we got more than we anticipated, which is incredible. It just means that we have to go bigger next time around. So that's definitely going to happen. And if you have not been approved or you are on the wait list, feel free to reach out to myself or Sarah, and we will see what we can do. But no guarantees. We cannot guarantee any waitlist entry, but we're trying. So day 2 is where this hackathon ramps up a little bit. So day 2 is bringing AI to life. So the challenge is to set up whatever you're building to connect your landing page to a working AI system. So what that means is a complete setup using whatever stack you want, an AI service of choice, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, etc., and a functional AI chat or interaction system. So some of you that I have spoken to, I know that you're not using chat. Now, just because you're not using chat, but you're using voice, still fulfills the AI integration. Now, let's say you're not doing voice and you're doing Daytona stuff. Daytona in itself is an AI integration. Also, the thing you want to really focus on, so the deliverables for Challenge 2 is an API integration of your chosen AI service, which could be text to image with Runware. That's AI. A user input system, so a chat, a form, interactive elements, or voice connections, something like that. A way to display AI response to the user, obviously, because that's what they're paying for. Landing page should connect to this service. So it's as simple as, here's my landing page. You click a link called app or whatever, and you go to the app. The technical milestones you want to reach are authenticating an API, making an API call, good UI and UX for that AI app, and an integration pulling everything together from your landing page to your app. Now, if you get through all of that and you know it's a success because your dev environment's working, your AI API is working, users can interact with your AI, responses display, and the landing page directs to the AI functionality. Now, the bonus challenge, if you finish early, you're going to add nice loading indicators, because who likes ugly loading? That's boring. We want nice, beautiful, engaging. Conversation history and or memory, which we will cover in a future challenge. Customizing your AI. So think model, prompt, system prompt, temperature. And of course, can I do this on mobile? And then another extra is more than one AI integration or service. Now, how you do this, there's no exact template. There's no rules of how you do it. You can do it any way you want. There's a million ways to do this. I recommend thinking about what you want to do, think about where AI can come into play, and then you can begin to simply use AI to help you do these things. So for example, where are we? Yeah, so this is Bolt. I'm using Bolt because it's super easy to explain to you guys. So I basically told Bolt I wanted a detailed image generation app, whatever, and then it's telling me I need to figure out my API. So Bolt can't completely do everything for you. It can only give you a boilerplate. And you also have to remember, Bolt, like all AI, could be wrong. A good example is like tsconfig.app.json, and I'll zoom in so you can see because it's kind of hilarious. Like this clearly isn't going to work because it's not real. That's not proper code. And that's like a current problem with AI. And that's why the best thing you could do is try to understand this stuff. And if you've never built it before, there are lots of starter kits that you can get that uses these tools. One of them is in your starter pack. So for example, if you were to do image generation with HiDream, right? So you can select any one of your models here. And this is all from Runware. And then this is the inference. So this is what you would give your AI to be able to do this. And they have, of course, their own like documentation and all that fun stuff. But you can see if we go to image inference, if we switch to editor, it looks pretty like normal. Like I can write a dog and I'll get a dog. And you can see that's happening here. Now to do this with code, you would simply change it, but that was pretty fast, by the way. So shout out to Runware. That's fast. You could switch this into JSON mode. So this is the same thing, except this is code. So if I want a sunset, I would be putting it right here. But this is JSON mode, so I can't edit it. But I could hit generate on JSON. So like if I have AI, which all of you do, and remember, you don't have to do what I'm doing, what I'm showing. If you have an app that's currently doing an API call or API gen or using advanced voice from OpenAI, this qualifies. It just needs to work. So see, it just made this. Now, what if I want to use Runware? So then I would go and be like, okay, well, where's your documentation? And it's here. And I added Runware and it gave me $20. So we could use that. So you see here, $20 was added after I put the TSI. Capital T, capital S, capital I. And you should get $20. And then you need to also get a key. So I'm going to create a key on stream. I'll delete it later. So here's my key. So I would then go and tell Bolt that that's my API key. Similar to how you would do like other AIs. So I'm just here showing Bolt just that. And then how to connect is pretty much like how do we use this API? So you can see here that here's example of curl, which is pretty easy to use, it looks like. So this is the guide, text to image, you see? So if I want this whole thing, you could give it basically 2 Bolt. So like here's a request, basic request. And then I would say to Bolt, here is example request. And I don't know what that is, so we're gonna have to look. And here's a response. So you can see you get an image back. And this I'm just showing you. I'm not gonna like live code this. I'm just showing you like how you could use AI, whether it's Bolt or any AI. And then over here where it says request image inference runaware, this is the model. So yeah, like this should work, and we can see what it does. But this is what it made. So like this would be challenge 2. So some way to see and use your app. So you can see here, this would be like, I click here and I would generate an image, but it probably won't work yet. Yeah, see? It doesn't work. But now it's going to, because now it created EMV. Do you guys see this? Look, this is what's cool about Bolt right now, is that you can actually put keys. I don't know if you guys can see the keys. They kind of go away pretty quick, but it's pretty cool. And so they're holding your actual keys here. And again, you don't have to use Bolt. This is not a Bolt only challenge, but Bolt was gracious enough to hook us up with some accounts so you guys can try it. But this is creating Supabase, it looks like. And so this wouldn't actually work because you need to get Supabase. So you can see Bolt is saying, if you want to do this, you got to go here. So you can go to integrations. See, I said don't do it, but you can go to integrations and you could get connected with Supabase, and you could use Supabase functions, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do it like a regular app does. So that means we have a regular SRC and a /API, which we're going to actually use, but we're not going to use Supabase. But you can see Bolt went to Supabase, but I know that I don't want to do that. And now I also know that I don't see an API folder. And that's just because, I code. So I could say I see no API folder, all calls come from API. And then it will obviously know what's going on. So then it's going to build that part because that's missing. And you can see it's building it right here. Will this work? Not sure. But this is like kind of what we have to do. So today's challenge is about putting AI into your app. Now, this technically has everything it needs. But now it has this issue. And what's cool is you can just have Bolt fix the problem. You don't even need to copy it in, because Bolt already addresses the problem. And this is why using AI to code is super important and very fun. Exactly, Morgan. So you already know. So if I pass this, will it work? No, but it will. Like, it's going to fix it. And this you can use AI Tutor for. You don't need to use Bolt. Like, now you're fixing problems. Exactly. What James is saying is 100% correct. Use whatever AI you have access to. And you can always paste the solution into Bolt, always. And remember, Bolt connects to GitHub. So you can always just bring your stuff to GitHub. So a lot of problems that can come up, if you don't understand them, then Bolt can't fix them either. There's a few recommendations I can give you that I can give off stream. So head over to Slack, shoot me a DM and be like, tell me any advice or you have for what things we could use to build. I know a lot of you have AI Tutor, and AI Tutor is really good for this. So the red page you just saw, that's an actual syntax error. So most people fix that not with like an AI like this because it uses too many tokens. We'll just go to like AI Tutor, pass in the problem, and the problem will be returned to you fixed, and you paste the code. Yep. And if you go too long with Bolt, like any AI or anything like that, it could get confused. That's why using AI Tutor to figure out how to do this is very, very useful, because AI Tutor has unlimited tokens, so there's no limit to the tokens that you can use when chatting. Yeah, and Machine is coming back. It is going through a major upgrade, so I would just hang on and try it out tomorrow. And Sabrina, we have we fixed everyone's account last night, so give it a try today. Basically, we had some models go down yesterday and the day before, so we upgraded our infra. So now it's lightning fast. Everything's back online. And so you can use AI Tutor to render out the entire thing and just go to Bolt and say here. And like Bolt's still going right now. You can see it on my screen. Like it's literally still going. So it found an error. So like if this was my competition, I would like, and I was competing, I would take this down and just bring this code, right, and like all the code to AI Tutor. The thing that's really concerning is like tsconfig node.json is like not normal. So like it does make mistakes. And that's something you have to remember and learn about as you go on and as you build. I do recommend using OpenAI, one of the O models, or using, yes, AI Tutor does have memory. We actually just added memory the other day into Premium. No, it's coming back later today. It's coming back with a bunch of new features so that you guys could use it. We're gonna make it part of the hackathon. And Sabrina, if you have any issues, just let us know in DM on Slack, and we're happy to help you. It might be the specific model you're using, but it's hard to tell. So shoot me a DM, and we'll help you out, Sabrina. And Machine is back, so Machine does work. You can't really revise Supabase. Let me stop it so I can see Supabase. So you gotta wait till Bolt's not thinking, and then you'll be able to like mess with Supabase if you want. Now Runaware is super easy to integrate AI into your project. So is Daytona. Daytona has really good docs actually. So I'm going to show you some cool stuff in Daytona too that you could use. So where Daytona comes into play is, let's say you have some Python arbitrary script that you want to run. So your agent has a file system, get operations. It can also process code. So let's say you have a Python code that you want to run and you've been running it normally. You could build your app anywhere, Elizabeth. I recommend Vercel, who's one of our partners. Vercel is a really easy way to publish, and it's free. And also, if you have any questions about AI Tutor or any of our technology, reach out in Slack, and we're happy to help you. Now, we use this in Machine. In Machine, if you've ever used it, we have a file system. We use get operations, and we process code. And what's really cool is Machine also has web terminals. And using the web terminal, we can run commands. And Everflow, we have GPT-4, and we have everything else. No, KK, no. But if you want to reach out to me, we can help you in Slack. We just can't help everyone with their individual issues here in this live stream. But that's what Slack is for. Feel free to shoot me a DM right now, and you'll get on our list of backlog of people to answer, and we will be able to help you out and fix whatever issue you're having. So no worries. Machines. And we're changing a lot in Machine. So look out for one of the days we're going to be featuring Machine and the new update. And I'll just tell you, this new version of Machine requires no config. So it's like one button connect to things. No more API keys, no more nothing. And yes, you can now, starting next week, you'll be able to upload your memory from ChatGPT and put it right into AI Tutor. That's our next update. Now, And outside of Daytona, you have Modal, which is also a way to run a language model. So let's say you don't want to pay any API, right? You can head over to Modal. Hold on. Okay. So if we go to their docs, so there's examples. And when I say example, I don't mean like some information. I mean the actual code. So I'm going to give an example that a lot of you would want to do. Here's a, where is it? I have so many. Okay, so this one will actually just run DeepSeek. So you could run DeepSeek on Modal. And you can see it runs right here in the terminal. And then once it's live, you can actually use your website that you're building and make a call to this. And the code's not just here, guys. Get familiar with GitHub. They have an insane GitHub modal. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do all of them. You can do all of these, and it's still not going to use your credits. But for example, who knows about Fast API? This is Fast API and Modal. Let's say you have Discord. This is a Discord bot. This is basic web. And you could give this code to AI Tutor and be like, hey, what is this? How does this work? Or any AI. But we're not going to do a live build hackathon. Like, that's not what this is. We're just explaining tools you can use. And there's many others. There's Netlify, which you could use. So if you're using Netlify, that's fine. KK, you can always move to Vercel easily. There's FAL that you could use. There's Replicate. There's so many different APIs available to you guys, like Grok, X API. And they all have starter kits. And you can find them all. So what I urge you to do is work on creating an AI integration in your project. So the idea is to use some AI in the next step. And that's the second challenge, is to utilize and make an API call. And it doesn't have to be like 100. It could be like 2 API calls. And if you're already making that in your app, then you can enter it in challenge 2. But make sure whatever you submit, and the judges could use AI somehow, whether it's a chatbot, generating an image, any of those things. Now that I've talked for a lot, Sarah, is there any questions I need to answer that you're getting?
No, not overtly. I am kind of looking around. You gave a bunch of really cool tools, and I hope that everybody is really truly looking into them. They were chosen for a reason. It wasn't just because they were sponsors. They are going to make your life easier. I'm actually going to steal something that AI John wrote in the Slack channel yesterday. This might help. That Runware is access to the media. Modal is access to GPUs. Daytona runs the code and agents, and then Bolt is like the builder, so for your landing pages and such. And I just thought it was such a wonderful way of putting it, and I hope that answers any of the other folks' questions. I do want to make mention too, you need to be looking into your email. Ross has already sent out emails. I have one personally that shows the link that says, hey, you can upload here. We make sure that all of those things are sent out. So you do have to kind of discipline yourself to, be in the Slack channel, be in your email box, make sure that you're vigilant. If you see that someone is mentioning something in the Slack channel that you didn't get a link for this or a link for that, check your spam files, do everything that you would do to kind of troubleshoot those things. But one of the things that we teach people in class, a lot of this is many of you, this is your first hackathon, right? And this is not a traditional hackathon, but it's very, very cool and it's very, very awesome, the prizes and such. Is that if you're getting introduced to companies that you don't really know how they're going to fit into your workflow, or whether they need to be in your workflow, they have to earn a spot there, right? If they're not serving you specifically, it's just like apps on your phone. It has to serve you, or they have to earn a spot on your screen. And how John laid it out for himself to clear it up and to make it, make sense to him. Every time you get a new company, you're like, okay, this is what it does. And then you can kind of, figure out what's the best for you, because many of you blew through all your tokens, right? So now you have to kind of marinate on how to mitigate, the shortcoming, right? So actually understanding how to manage your resources, manage your energy, manage your token consumption, etc. And what are the options in case you've used up one channel? How do you pivot and then have something similar?
Yeah, and with that, I would say definitely reach out to us. So if you ran out of tokens, you need more help, we are here during the hackathon. Don't feel like we're too busy to answer your question. DM us immediately when you have a question, and our team will be answering it. Just like Oatman's question here and Elizabeth, we reached out to some of you, but you can reach out to us. We can answer any questions that you may have. Even if it's something we need to hop in a huddle to do, we could. We just can't address everything on the live stream.
Exactly. So we only have a few more minutes, and we're going to kind of tie this up in a little bow and let you guys out in the wild, free to go build and do awesome stuff. Just to sum up, day two's challenge is basically your AI integration and your setup, right? So that's what Ross was mentioning. Just like yesterday, you're going to have a little synopsis box in the Slack channel. It's going to tell you exactly what today's challenge is, right? It's going to highlight what you'll need to accomplish, gives you a little checkbox and everything else. And it also highlights your core deliverables. And I highly recommend, as you're going through each of these days, keep your lists, because guess what? These are huge, valuable resources for your everyday builds, not just hackathon build. Is that if you can kind of think about the delineation of challenges and the little journey that we're taking you on this path, these, you print them out, put them in a binder or whatever, to remind yourself that this is the process to get from point A to point B. And then you can kind of fill in the blanks as you go along. So your core deliverables, Ross is definitely going to make sure that and then you have some technical milestones. And how do you measure your success, right? That is one of the things. Did you succeed? When I'm looking at the links in the Slack channel of people who have finished their pages and they're showing them off, have you met all the criteria? Maybe you didn't, right? Maybe, yeah, you have a landing page and it's great, but you didn't do the bells and whistles. You didn't have the animations. You didn't have all of this stuff or whatever. Those are things that you can kind of judge throughout the week as your project kind of unfolds and fleshes out. This is just the scaffolding. We actually want you to change, right? The thing that you turned in last night or today is not going to be the final product, because you're going to be learning things. You're going to be learning new tools that maybe will streamline it and make it look prettier. Maybe it'll solve an issue that you're really struggling with. The evolution of the page is just as important as, winning the big prize at the end. The evolution and how you grow is also really, really cool. And so make sure you're taking a look at what Ross, Nick, and Alisher have kind of thought through and said, hey, this is how you can measure your success. Does it have the development environment? Is it fully functional? Those kinds of things. The AI API key, it's working and it's authenticated and you know what it is, and users can interact, with your AI through your interface. And
Go ahead. Get some questions about what exactly is this. So really quick, we are not doing this private. Everything in this live stream is actually public and streamed everywhere. So anyone who's watching this and you're like, what is this? This is a hackathon. And normally these sort of things are not publicized, but because we're not in person, we wanted to make it publicized and show everyone like what we're going over and how the hackathon works. So if you're looking at this on Twitter and you're like, what is this? I would say reach out to us on X or check our profile and you can see all the information about this event and what's going on.
Big facts, big facts. You know what? Hackathons usually happen in real life. Tech in schools, AI Mastery, AI Tutor, they've kind of pushed the envelope in terms of what does it mean to be in a digital classroom? What does it mean to be in a digital makerspace? What does it mean to have all of the globe come together at one time to kind of hack their own education? And so, this is kind of a novel approach. Most people don't do it this way. And it does add layers of complexity. And sometimes, we have to pivot and we have to move to accommodate because they're not things that you would normally think about. For instance, if it was a real place, you have to think about food and where the bathrooms are and make sure that you have scheduled breaks, and you have to have all of the different things that you worry about when it comes to a physical location. Here, we don't have those, but they're replaced with new worries and new things that we have to kind of think through. We also have to think through how to, make sure that the game itself is above board, that the transparency issues, because I know a lot of you are just livid tick that you have to turn in things and have your hands held like we're in a elementary school field trip and everybody has to hold a loop. I get it, I understand it, but we have to make sure that there's a series of checks and balances, because it's not just about us. It's not just about tech in schools. It's also about our sponsors. They've invested, tens of thousands of dollars each, to something. And they want to make sure that there's an account and an accounting for how we're using these tools, how people are, interacting with them. And, the judges also want to know, hey, we're dealing with AI. How much did AI do and how much did you do? Where's the proof of human? So that's what we're trying to instill. And I hope it goes right. And I really appreciate the feedback too. We get feedback all the time, and we're in the same boat you are. We're trying to learn as we go and make sure that everybody has a great experience. And I hope that that's the case, because I'm having a field day. It's really fun to be in the presence of people that are building stuff and that are having fun discovering new things. I'll highlight Starboss. She posted something this morning and she's like, look, she's posting all of the wonderful things that she's learning, right? And I just think it's so wonderful to see that. And I hope that more people do that. Say, it's not about necessarily all the bells and whistles. It's how do you use the bells and whistles. And I'm seeing people use some of the tools that they were given in really unexpected ways. And that's really, really fun. It's fun for us. It's fun for our sponsors. It's fun for the whole AI community when you break the mold, because many of you, you're unconventional thinkers, you're unconventional doers and makers, and the way that you see things and reorder things is so unique to you. And we want to give you every opportunity to shine in all of your uniqueness. And so thank you for being patient with us when things don't work according to plan. Thank you for all of the people on the wait list that are chomping at the bit to get in. And thank you for the people that decided, hey, you know what? I think I want to make sure that my turbo pack goes to someone. I might not be able to finish this project, or this is something that I just don't have the mind space for right now. That's really cool too. We really appreciate it. And like I said in our opening segment, the fact that you are all collaborating with one another, that the friendly co-opetition, in FIRST Robotics, we call that gracious professionalism. And you guys have it in spades. And I'm really, really appreciative, but also proud, because a lot of people are watching to see how we do this and how it pans out. And we're always willing to be test dummies, and it's just really amazing to see such wonderful people building side by side and doing really, really awesome things. So you guys continue to go on to greatness. I'm so excited for you. Day 3, definitely going to be one for the history books. just keep swimming, little Nemo, little Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, and really, really fight to finish it out, fight to have a good end of the race, folks, because like I said yesterday, you will be a different person at the end of these 7 days, and um, I think it's going to be very wonderful, very, very wonderful. So with that, that's my final remarks for today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, tap on glass. There's all of us behind the scenes, whether it's in DMs on Twitter, other back channels. I know some of you are not even on Twitter, that you are on other channels. We can be accessed through those channels as well. But I highly recommend just sticking to the Slack channel where everybody is.
Yeah, and
It's the
I'll
most
say
reliable.
one other thing before we end. I see people asking, how do you get the Turbo Pack? How do you join? So registration is closed. We are at our limits, but if you reach out to me on X, we can see what we can do. We are going to be accepting a few people today off the wait list as some spots opened up. Just understand, as if we wanted it, we want to get everyone in, but it's just we have a limit of turbo packs and prizes. So if you are not in the hackathon and you want to participate and get a turbo pack, reach out via DM on X or wherever you're seeing this, and we will try and do our best to get you in the hackathon. And remember, the fun is in building. Don't worry about winning, just worry about building. And we're here to help you. So reach out in Slack. That's why we've opened up our private Slack to everyone so that you could reach out to us and get help when you need it. And if you did reach out and didn't get an answer, don't freak out. We're live right now. As soon as live ends, we'll be answering all DMs. And yeah, we'll not announce, but we will give out the day 2 specifications, and a link will be at the bottom for us to try your AI. If you already have it deployed and you're just making a few changes, feel free to send the link whenever. Again, all links are due on Friday. So if you don't get to submitting today or yesterday, submit it for Friday. And just remember, we're here to help, and no DM is too many DMs, and no question is done.
One last very important thing I did mention, keep an eye out. We will notice and make a note of it in Slack, but if we have to change the time a little bit to accommodate, you know, a good chunk of our people by moving it an hour, we might do that. But I know that most of you have already kind of committed to the 10 to 11. We won't judge it that much, okay? Just so you know. But just keep an eye out and always look for the little purple halos, or in Ross and Nick and Alisher's Tech in School, it's the little pink halo. And I will make sure to put links live on, various streams and socials if we do make any adjustments, just to be sure.
Oh, and one other thing. If any of you have any spaces or anything that you're doing throughout the week that are involving our hackathon, let us know.
Yep.
We will do our very, very best to stop by and talk with you in your space. So be sure to tag us in any spaces related to the hackathon, and we will do what we can to join and help enrich your awesome space.
That's exactly right. And I will tell you, the folks that did that yesterday, they were so good. They were so good. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of everybody in the group. So, but definitely make sure you tag us. If we're able to be there, we will definitely be there. So, we are traveling little caravans of Carney folks, and we go where anything AI and tech and schools are mentioned. So we'll see you on the flip side, folks. But for today, I think we're done. Is that correct, Ross?
We are. I'm about to end the stream right now and get back to all these DMs that I got going on right now. But thank you all for coming. Thanks for participating in our first ever hackathon. And just know it's going to be happening way more often. And we're excited to build more with you guys, get more amazing prizes, and help propel your next big idea.
Go on to greatness.
Yeah, what she said. Go on to greatness.